Seldom, my friends, and I would like to increasingly do this. Seldom do we get a clip that's just straight from the floor of the House or the Senate. Piece of a news bit, not news being told by the Judge Janines of the world, but the news as it happens. And this would be the situation with um, Chris Wray, the Trump appointee, and the third Johnson. I don't know, of the Johnson boys, and Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who says must. This is the title is must watch. So we gotta. I'm sorry, we don't have a choice. Forbes is forcing us. FBI's Wray and Ron Johnson Wray clash. Ron Johnson Wray. Wait, they're married? Oh my God! I didn't realize Ron Johnson was a hyphenate. FBI's Wray and Ron Johnson's Wray. Wait, Ron Johnson has a Johnson Wray? That sounds painful. About FBI's handing, ooh, I guess he does, of Biden family probe. Hello. I don't even know how you.
Moon River.
There's a handing of the Biden probe. Shit. That's amazing. Must watch FBI's Wray and Ron Johnson Wray clash about FBI's handing. Are we sure that Lauren Boebert isn't in this clip? Of Biden family probe, which is
River.
I don't know what kind of I don't know which probe they're talking about. There's a
Drop
lot.
your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
But eventually, well, I guess we'll find out watching. You know what I mean? I don't want to bury the lead. Let's hear it. Okay, here we go. This is Ron to the Johnson Wray.
Now, Director Wray.
Oh, by the way, he starts out showing this is a DACA announcement, and supposedly that's what causes this spike in things because people are going to stay. Obama declares humanitarian crisis, which there was, and there's these spikes, whatever. But humping along really low, and then the hold on, let me back the fuck up because there's the chart. This is the encounters. Now there are two factors in the encounters. Southwestern border encounters. Two factors in the encounters. One is we're encountering them. So the agents are actually encountering these people. They are stopping them or seeing them or arresting them or, like putting them in buses and taking them someplace. That's an encounter. They're not just seeing them. They're not slip-bys. These aren't the sneak bys. You could argue that there were a bunch of slip-bys right around here during the Trump era. And the rest of this is whatever. Anyways, there's obviously 2020, and then there's this kind of snapback bounce of after 2020. But the wall is there, funneling people through a narrower gap. In the narrower gap, there are CBP people, and they see them. They round them up, or they catch them, or whatever. So the number of encounters is up because that means they're seen. This is like their problem with the word seized. All this fentanyl was seized at the border. Okay. Would you rather it not be seized? Yes, because the Trump drug family makes millions of dollars every second on it. Anyways, and the other one is that goes into encounters is the number of people coming, which is not something anybody has control over. And again, if you hear someone saying the border is open, it's a Republican. The only people saying worldwide that the U.S. border is open and we don't check people and people just flow in is a Republican. No Democrat is saying that.
Now, Director Wray, I'm assuming you've seen and read the letter that Senator Grassley wrote to you.
Don't make an ass out of you and the people from Maine.
Attorney General Garland on October 24th.
I'm generally aware of it.
Oh, you are.
You're aware. Oh, you're aware. Well, they do send me a fucking letter every 3 days, and it's all the same bullshit.
Read it. Let me read some segments to you. The FBI maintained over 40 confidential human sources that provided criminal information related to Joe Biden, James Biden, and Hunter Biden. An essential question that must be answered in this
is why won't those people go public? Is it because we'll find out it's 40 different offices across the country and the same 5 people, and they all work with Rudy Giuliani? Nah.
Did the FBI investigate the information or shut it down? Certainly there's a host of reasons to conclude that they attempted to shut it down.
No. Well, there might have been one big reason, that they were all presenting copies of the Rudy Giuliani hard drive that he purchased from Russians in Europe, that he was, bandying about and saying it has child porn, which is why he was copying it and disseminating it to all of his friends. But they might have dropped that off. And since there's no chain of evidence on it, and the data on it is so flawed that if it actually worked its way into any Hunter Biden case, it would cause a cascading effect across all the evidence and get the case thrown out. So if anybody actually wanted to prosecute Hunter Biden, they wouldn't want to be anywhere near that bullshit hard drive.
Goes on. It has been alleged that the basis for
Well, there was a sniff.
shutting down the investigative activity, shutting it down, was an August 2020 assessment created by FBI supervisory intelligence analyst Brian Auten.
That fucker.
That assessment was used by FBI headquarters team to improperly discredit
A lot of sniff, a lot of big sniffs, a lot of big Trump. I know I'm bullshitting, but I'm trying to blaze through this and appear manly.
negative Hunter Biden information as disinformation and caused investigative activity to cease. It goes on. Analyst Brian Auten opened the aforementioned assessment, which was used by the Foreign Influence Task Force to seek out CHS holdings at FBI field offices across the country relating to the Biden family and falsely discredit them as foreign disinformation. My staff calls that catch and kill. And by the way, it was...
No, that's what David Pecker at the Inquirer was doing for Donald Trump. But again, if any of the material from the alleged laptop made its way into any of the actual Hunter Biden cases, or even Joe Biden or James Biden cases, it would cause a fruit of the poison tree cascade across all of it and get the whole thing thrown out.
That same task force that gave Senator Grassley and I our unsolicited briefing that was later
An unsolicited briefing? That sounds painful.
leaked to the media to smear me.
Oh my God. So, and you didn't even know this briefing was coming. You couldn't avoid this. And they just you got this unsolicited briefing, and then they're going to smear you with it. How does that work?
Impact my 2022 election.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Grassley concludes, there appears to be an effort within the Justice Department and FBI to shut down investigative activity relating to the Biden family.
By the way, he's not making mistakes when he's reading. He's literally doing it in the style of Chuck Grassley, which are really hard to do like that, or you don't have a piece of wheat sticking out of your mouth like that.
Point to significant political bias infecting the decision-making of not only the Attorney General and FBI Director, but also line agents and prosecutors.
During the Trump administration,
our republic cannot survive such a political infection, and you have an obligation to this country to clear the air. Let me ask another, and by the way, I'd ask that this unanimous consent that this letter be...
You want Yam's consent? That's where all the yams in the room start swearing.
Enter in the record, and also this column that appeared in the Wall Street Journal published yesterday.
Oh, you mean the mainstream media?
Have you read this one?
No.
More on the stifled Hunter Biden probe.
I have seen that.
Okay. We'll enter that in the record. Again, this...
More. By the way, if I was Ron Johnson, I would take offense at being called a moron by the Wall Street Journal.
This column is written based on the October 23rd Judiciary Committee interview with former U.S. Attorney Scott Brady, who was
whatever
tapped by Attorney General Barr to vet information related to Ukrainian corporate corruption and pass along credible material to offices with ongoing investigations. I'll get some highlights here.
Sure, could do that. Yeah, that's great. And Barr pointed this guy. Okay, here we go.
The FBI office in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh?
Couldn't take any steps without the review and approval of FBI headquarters. Mr.
I think I think a piece of sweetgrass or alfalfa, hence them calling us hayseeds. Yes, it's true, Jinx.
Wray describes a reluctance on the part of the FBI to really do any tasking related to allegations of Ukrainian corruption broadly, and then specifically.
But why wouldn't they? They're in Pittsburgh, the very heart of all things Ukraine, and fucking places where Ukraine things happen. Why is the Pittsburgh field office holding out?
Anything that intersected with Hunter Biden and his role in Burisma. FBI headquarters had to sign off on every assignment.
Right, because it's nothing that pertained to that particular field office. And it is, I don't know if you know this. I know you keep saying FBI very quickly, but you do recognize the F stands for federal. It is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not the PBI, which would be either the Peanut Butter Investigative Group, PIG, or it's the Pittsburgh Bureau of Investigation.
No matter how small or routine, and that this sometimes required 17 different people, mostly at the headquarters level.
Gee, it sounds like a large government agency.
Mr. Brady said he'd never in his DOJ career seen anything.
Wait, he's worked with Snoop Dogg? Hold on. Where was his career?
At the headquarter level. Mr. Brady said he'd never in his DOJ career.
Snoop D-O-G. Dog diggy dog diggy dog diggy dog to the Pittsburgh doggity dog. It's DOJ. Just saying. D-O-G spells something else.
Seen anything like it.
Well, you know, and he's seen a talking dog. He worked for one, apparently.
Mr. Brady.
This is a man who worked for a talking dog. And he's never seen anything like this. Are you sure he wasn't smoking evidence in the Hunter Biden case?
Says his office was informed by members of the Pittsburgh FBI team that they had been instructed by headquarters not to affirmatively share information with the Brady team. He said he was surprised to learn that the FBI possessed the Hunter Biden.
The Brady team?
And laptops.
I think their official title is Bunch. I don't want to.
Since 2019, he heard that through public reports.
Oh, did he?
Senator Grassley's letter concludes,
"If you don't get off my lawn, I'm going to do something about it, sailor."
That he has obtained names from his whistleblower, 25 Department of Justice FBI personnel, to interview at a future date.
Great. Let us know how that works out. All 25 of them. Bring them in there. I'm sure it'll be lightning.
Is he also requesting a bunch of information?
A bunch? Shit. Did anybody bring the basket? I'm sorry. Technically speaking, this is my best Christopher Wray, by the way. Sorry. Usually, if you request a bunch of information, then we have to put it in a basket. If you want a lot, obviously, we can put it out in the middle of, in the parking area where everybody goes, or, please just don't ask for a shit ton, because the truck that we use for that is on loan and it needs to be washed.
You provide those FBI personnel for interviews with his office in mind, and will you provide those documents?
Well, I'll have to review the specific requests, and we'll see how we can be helpful.
Okay, well, I'll hand you this letter.
He already has the letter.
Final point I want to make. I was briefed a couple weeks ago by members of the FBI on what Senator Blumenthal.
Was it a drive-by briefing?
Are doing to try and unredact a lot of the information on the 9/11 event, okay? Now,
the 9/11, not a 9/11. Okay.
The briefers seem to be people of integrity, like I think the vast majority of the.
Yeah, that's a good thing about the FBI. Lots of the briefers over there, they're fabulous. Fabulous. Briefed like you've never been briefed before. Like, people can't even believe it. It's a disgrace that people can't be briefed more often about it. And interestingly enough, briefed about 9/11, they've gotten really good at it ever since George W. Bush ignored his presidential daily, what's that word? I'm losing it again. It's card, situation, calendar, reminder, fact sheet. I'll remember it later.
Men and women that work in the FBI, the 38,000 field agents. So again,
yeah, it's just like 8 assholes. Everybody else is great.
They were people.
They're great. I mean, they obviously when they were told to raid Mar-a-Lago, they just were sniffing Melania's panties and stealing, you know, I don't know, what Barron's big transformer that he had for years that he still really likes because it's a collector's item.
Integrity. The problem is that they gave me 3 different examples of redacted and then unredacted to explain it. And the redactions made sense of those 3 examples, but I had to make the point. The problem I have is I simply cannot trust what the FBI is providing me. And
Jesus Christ. This asshole is getting briefed materials, redacted and unredacted, and he can look at the fucking documents and he's like, I don't trust it. That's not what that really said. I can't trust the FBI because that's the line Vladimir Putin pays me to say.
I don't say that with any joy in my heart. That's
no, but some cash in your bank account, though.
It's a travesty. The American people want to believe and have trust in the FBI. We want.
Yeah, I honest to God, unless you're a complete fucking lunatic, most people, when the FBI releases an unredacted version of a document, most of us are pretty good that it's the unredacted version of that document. The fuck is this asshole talking about? Does he think they typed up some other version of it because he was so convinced? There are so many references bouncing through my head that I could make right now, but some of them are a bit messy and difficult for the internet, so I'll save them for in person.
Want credibility and integrity restored to your institution.
Yeah, hey, fuckhead, their integrity is not predicated on how paranoid and full of shit you are. You do realize that, right? The reality and whether or not people are gonna, are out to get you or lie to you or trying to trick you, is either a material truth in that situation or you're just fucking lunatic. You're just a fucking lunatic.
But Director Wray, you have not done that since assuming office, and I could go.
Hey, he's a Trump appointee. What do you want? They all suck.
Go through a long laundry list of the reasons why.
Do it. Whip it out, dude.
That trust has been violated.
Why? Because you trusted him to cover Trump's ass?
I don't have it right now. I'm happy to sit down.
Obviously, you don't have it right now, and that's not the kind of thing you can commit to memory because, there's so many of them. And off the top of my head, though, there's like hundreds. I can think of 3 would kind of solve it in this situation. But then you'd get to answer those things, and everybody here would see that I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I want to meet with you and go over these things in detail, but
why are you afraid to do it in public, Ron Johnson?
I would say, because they asked me, what can we do to restore trust?
Here's what I suggest. I think you get up from your chair right now, walk out. Be careful. Walk around to the outside of this. Christopher Wray and his lawyers can stand up. They'll walk around to the pit where the camera guys are, and they'll all stand in a line. You just turn around and fall backwards. I'm sure they'll catch you. I'm not kidding. I'm certain they'll catch you.
Start being transparent. My final point is...
Also, you can't ask a law enforcement entity that goes after organized crime and serial killers and domestic terrorists to be transparent. There's a limit. Same thing with the CIA. That's why they make a perfect fucking target, because you can paint over all the gaps in your knowledge and everything in it is fucking a massive plot. They must be up to something. I can't see this part. Well, if you could see this part, so could the very people they're trying to keep from killing you. Whatever.
Now, this is actually a question.
Can you kick my ass?
Why is it? This makes no sense. I'm an elected U.S. Senator.
Yes, I agree. Yes, this is true. I think we all agree with this. It makes no sense that you're an elected U.S. Senator. Yeah. It's a fucking mystery, pal.
The highest security clearance.
No, not the highest.
Why is it that unelected members of the FBI can see the documents unredacted, but I can't, even in a secure briefing room?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. Because internally in law enforcement, to isolate these cases so that they can be devoid of political influence, agents who sworn an oath to protect the Constitution and specifically to their oath as in law enforcement have to keep them separate from just, turnstile elected representatives unless it's specific to a direct oversight. Just because you want to thumb through the case against one of your buddies doesn't mean you get to.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
It makes a lot of sense. It's pretty fucking normal, dumb.
But that's exactly how federal law enforcement, Department of Justice, the FBI, who are the law.
Right. Yeah. And you are a, quote, lawmaker. So how about you get at that? And here's a good idea. Go read the law. Because it's not Christopher Wray's decision to let you see shit or not let you see shit.
Remain above the law, remain above scrutiny, and completely scorn.
He is. I don't want to interrupt you, kind of do, but whatever. You do realize he's there so that you can scrutinize him, and you're just talking. Like you read a letter and part of a Wall Street Journal into the record, but you're not scrutinizing him. You're just saying what you think or your own fucking paranoid fantasies.
Our constitutional responsibility and authority to provide oversight. We just can't do it, as the chairman was talking about earlier.
Yeah, but you don't get to micromanage legal cases. That's not part of your oversight. You don't get to barge in. Elected representatives don't get to barge into the fucking DOJ and go, let me see what cases you got. Throw them on the table. I'm going to read through all these. Some of them involve your state and your business. I don't give a fuck. Let me see them.
About how you've basically ignored his requests for credit for or questions for the record.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond?
You may.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this, I think.
So
even though Ron Johnson doesn't seem to want you to do it.
Needless to say, I disagree with your characterization, not only of my own performance, but of our workforce. I will tell you, when it comes to trust and confidence, the number of people applying to be special agents of the FBI has gone up dramatically since I've been.
Since Donald Trump left.
An FBI director. And in fact, in your home state of Wisconsin, it's gone up about 160-something%, which is one of the highest in the country. So I see an
We have to turn them down, though, because they're all oddly lactose intolerant and are just looking to move out of state. I'm just fucking
FBI every day that conducts themselves with integrity and professionalism.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to know that? You guys won't let me look at stuff. Sorry, I was channeling Chuck Grassley there for a second.
And selflessness and rigor. And I do not accept the characterization of our performance in this particular case.
That is not how I characterized it. I'm
Yeah, you did.
talking about partisanship at the top
Mr. Chairman?
with some specific partisan actors. I said the vast majority.
Here's the stupid part. This is the fucking nut of the whole thing. This asshole, and Don Jr. does it too, so does Trump, wants to talk about the rank and file of the FBI are good people, honest people doing an honest day's work. They're just doing their thing or whatever. There's just a few at the top that are totally fucking corrupt. And you know this, and it's all over, and everybody knows it. That's the thing. But these rank and file agents are carrying out the orders of these people up top, and yet they're still considered by you to be of integrity and good people and all that kind of stuff. If they're knowingly and willfully taking orders that you believe to be unconstitutional and carrying them out, then they're as guilty as the person above them, unless you're doing this fucking, I was just following orders nonsense. Fuck off. Everybody but the people I see on TV are good people. And then the minute I see any of you other fuckers on TV, you're now bad. It's just dumb.
30,000 are people of integrity.
And
Right, yeah. 30,000 people of integrity carrying out the mission of 8 people who are enemies of the state. So the poor FBI agents that are just accidental enemies of the state, get fucked.
the idea that I, as a Republican appointee and a lifelong Republican, am biased in the way that you are describing makes absolutely no sense.
I'm happy to read you chapter and verse of all the reasons why.
Do it. Do it.
That credibility has been destroyed.
Yeah. With me, because I don't trust the FBI because they keep looking at all the shit I'm doing. All right. So that's
Chairman, Secretary Mayorkas, I think you're familiar.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, Ron Johnson, everybody. Whew. Fuck, that's dumb.